For the last 10 years, automakers sold you a convincing illusion. They stripped tactile controls from your dashboard, installed a glowing digital slab, and called it a premium futuristic upgrade. The narrative was that consumers demanded a minimalist revolution. However, the data reveals a massive contradiction. If touchscreens are the ultimate luxury, why are they the single biggest liability in modern driving? According to the 2026 JD Power Dependability Study, infotainment is the worst performing category, with 56.7 problems per 103-year-old vehicles. Why is the global automotive industry spending billions of dollars to reverse the biggest design trend of the decade and put physical buttons back in your dashboard? Welcome to Bear Block Chronicles. We expose the hidden economic machinery driving the automotive market, using warranty documents, safety protocols, and collision repair data to prove it. The transition began under the guise of minimalist sophistication. Dealerships highlighted massive displays as the absolute future of driving. But behind the scenes, the motivation was purely economic. Replacing tactile switchgear with centralized screens was a deliberate strategy centered on consolidation. It reduced part counts and simplified the electrical architecture, saving money on the assembly line. The car became a computer network. This digital infrastructure delivered something far more valuable to automakers: the mandatory centralized hub required for the software-defined vehicle. Digital dashboards allow manufacturers to hide physical hardware behind software paywalls. For example, BMW previously attempted to charge subscription fees to activate heated seats that were already physically installed in the vehicle. This setup was engineered to extract recurring monthly fees throughout the vehicle's lifecycle. Automakers heavily marketed voice control and smartphone mapping as the ultimate digital integration. However, the technology fundamentally failed to deliver. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity problems account for nearly half of all reported infotainment complaints. Touchscreens were never an upgrade for the driver. They were financial infrastructure for the manufacturer. But that lucrative software hub was built on cheap glass. And when the hardware began to fail, the initial factory savings mutated into a multi-billion-dollar warranty nightmare. The consumer revolt started quietly, but quickly escalated into a massive financial liability. The basic physics of driving clashed directly with touchscreen interfaces. When winter weather hits, standard thick gloves block the electrical conductivity required by capacitive screens, leaving drivers unable to activate defrosters. Beyond weather limitations, the industry is bleeding warranty cash. Here's what owners report. Battery electric vehicles suffer significantly higher defect rates than traditional gas-powered cars, scoring 237 problems per 100 vehicles. Plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are the most problematic powertrain globally, with 281 problems per 100 vehicles. Electric motors are mechanically reliable, but manufacturers aggressively bundle them with experimental digital interfaces, erasing mechanical reliability gains through software instability. This failure rate has severe economic consequences. When an integrated infotainment module breaks, a complete replacement can run into 4 figures before programming and calibration. To stop the financial bleeding, automakers are actively shifting the liability directly onto consumers. Here's what the warranty documents say. General Motors explicitly warns that damage resulting from the failure to install over-the-air software updates within 45 days is not covered. The insurance industry is also penalizing this digital architecture. Centralized screens house critical sensors. Collision repair data from CCC Intelligence Solutions reveals that diagnostic scans now appear on nearly 88% of all repair appraisals, with advanced driver assistance system calibrations approaching 36%. Because replacing these systems requires thousands of dollars in recalibrations of advanced sensors, minor collisions are increasingly triggering economic total loss classifications from insurance carriers. Automakers saved pennies on the assembly line. only to pass on a massive software liability directly to consumers. But even after the warranty bleed, the repair chaos, and the growing consumer backlash, automakers still did not reverse course. The retreat only became inevitable when regulators transformed touchscreen overuse from a design gamble into a market-killing safety risk. Customer complaints and expensive warranty claims were not enough to force a corporate pivot. The breaking point arrived through undeniable safety data and international gatekeeping. Here's what the safety regulators reported. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration confirms that 3,308 people were killed in distraction-affected crashes in a single year. Identifying the danger, the European New Car Assessment Program enacted stringent testing protocols with a January 2026 implementation date. To achieve a top 5-star safety rating, vehicles must feature direct physical controls for 5 essential functions: turn signals, hazard lights, the horn, windshield wipers, and the emergency call system. Missing a 5-star safety score instantly disqualifies a vehicle from highly lucrative European corporate fleet purchasing contracts. Asian regulators are applying even more pressure. China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology drafted a mandate, scheduled for July 2027, requiring physical controls for necessary interior functions. To eliminate capacitive touch loopholes, the mandate explicitly requires physical buttons to have a minimum active operating area of 10 by 10 millimeters. A separate draft standard enforces a complete ban on Tesla-style yoke steering wheels, effective January 1st, 2027. In the United States, the Department of Transportation relies primarily on voluntary guidelines, recommending that drivers limit glances away from the road to 2 seconds at a time and 12 seconds total. However, American consumers will passively benefit from overseas mandates. Platforms are expensive to regionalize, so global manufacturers often harmonize their designs around the strictest major market requirements. Faced with lost fleet sales and regulatory exclusion, the industry is executing a costly retreat. Volkswagen chief designer Andreas Mint publicly admitted the brand's capacitive button strategy was a failure, stating they will never make this mistake again. This design trend did not die because manufacturers admitted they were wrong. It died because the money stopped working, and that failure gives buyers an opening. According to Kelley Blue Book data, the average transaction price for a new vehicle reached $50,326 in December 2025. At that price point, buyers have total leverage. If you're walking into a dealership this month to finance a new or used vehicle, you need to recognize that the secondary market is currently absorbing degraded tech. A 2025 Enterprise Mobility Survey reveals 54% of Americans believe there is too much technology in new vehicles, and 72% worry about repair costs if it breaks. Smart buyers are targeting hybrid interior designs. Brands like Porsche blend 12.3-inch touchscreens with distinct metallic climate control toggles. In the 2026 J.D. Power study, Lexus secured the top spot with just 151 problems per 100 vehicles. Apply a strict hardware rule to protect yourself. If essential functions live behind a digital menu, you are not buying the future. You're financing a depreciating asset burdened by an expired tech trend and extreme software liability. Walk away. The iPad on wheels was a financial derivative that exploded in the automakers' faces, forcing a costly and embarrassing retreat. Have you refused to buy a car because of its digital dashboard, or faced a 4-figure quote for a frozen screen? Drop your exact experience in the comments below. For Bear Block Chronicles, keep driving smart.